Will you hold me close tonight? Please stay with me.
Welcome. We'll give it a couple minutes for everybody to join because I just realized that it was never scheduled.
I'm scared you leave me alone. But if you stay, I've got to make it okay.
Welcome. Happy Monday. Gonna be an amazing week.
So tonight, it's right to
Tap in.
So tonight, it's right
Welcome. Please, as you're joining, make sure that you like. It's going to help boost the algorithm. You know, we want to have as many different people enjoying these conversations as possible and engaging in these conversations as possible, I should say. So that way we can work towards a solution for everybody. So make sure that you're liking as you're joining, and make sure that if you're feeling real generous, maybe even share with a group. Send it to your group chat. We need people here. I already sent it to my group chat, just throwing it on my story as well. How was everybody's weekend? Enjoying that fall weather? It's probably my favorite time of the year. For a lot of different reasons. Like, I like when the fall is about to be here, the leaves are changing. It's kind of like introducing that hoodie season. You know, we go apple picking. And then it's like the fall is exciting because you know that the holidays are coming. Like, even though we don't like the weather, but we do embrace the holidays. So hopefully everybody will have great spirits for that. Great spirits. Spirits up. I think I'm done with this. Oh, nah, no repeat. What's the word? And my apologies on the link. Why the link wasn't, for some reason it didn't go through on LinkedIn. So for people, actually, y'all just reminded me. So I was having a little bit of issues on LinkedIn. Let me actually just make sure that I posted on my LinkedIn. My apologies. But how's everybody doing? We got Kiki in the building. Kiki, I gotta make you some tea. I've been experimenting with the tea. In case y'all aren't familiar, Kiki hit me up and was like, "Yeah, where you get the tea from?" So we definitely gotta put together a little mix for you. I gotta bring you in for a consultation and then see exactly the things that you're looking for. Are you looking for recovery? Are you looking for something that helps with endurance? Are you looking for something that allows you to relax? Are you looking for something that's going to allow you to dream at night? Whatever it is that you're looking for, we're going to put together a nice little mix for you. So for anybody else out there that would like that needs some herbal healing, like our kitchen cabinets should be the things that heal us, in my opinion. Now, that's not necessarily always the case, but in my opinion, that should be the case. So neither here nor there. I don't know. We actually were going to talk about that a little bit. Do y'all realize, let me ask y'all this, because I said this the other day and I thought it was something that was like groundbreaking, but I'm not sure it was. I'm not sure. Oh, Kiki said what song's playing. So I'm going to send you the instrumental. Don't trip. I got you. I'm going to send you the little instrumental. Matter of fact, can you sing, Kiki? You look like you could sing. If we need somebody, we're going to make our own song on there. But hear me out on this. Do y'all realize that the world that we're living in, we live in a world where, Cuzzo needs some cognitive tea. I got you, Cuzzo. We live in a world where people would rather buy shea butter lotion than actually shea butter. Think about that. We live in a world where people would rather buy shea butter lotion, just to have the little shea butter scent on it, lotion, rather than the actual shea butter that's coming from the earth. You feel me? So that's, and when I look at that, I was kind of looking at all the things like how people make money in this world right now. Like how people make money in this world. What do people sell? Like people always have to sell you on something being bigger and better or more efficient, lose weight fast, rather than, do all the things that are necessary to lose weight. Developing those habits will just, take Ozempic. Everything is based on getting things like innovative things. And when you look at something that we always talk about, whether it's like big pharma, all they do, these pharmaceutical companies, they study plants. They study how the plants, the herbs, the minerals, they study how those heal us. And then what they do is they make their own little chemical concoction, put it together, and that way they can package it in a way where they can sell it to us. They can't, it's a lot easier for them to sell on their end a pill of whatever, a pill of, I don't know, promethazine, or I don't know what people taking these days. It's easier for them to sell a prescription than it is for them to make a lot of money off of selling vitamin C. And that's the world that we live in. We live in a world that would rather buy shea butter scented lotion than shea butter. So that kind of was just on my mind. OG in the building. OG Von's in the building. Crazy world, real versus fake, LOL. We see this all the time. We see this all the time. So Kiki says she can't sing at all. All right, well, we're going to take some voice lessons. I'm going to take some voice lessons for you, with you. All right, so we got a show. We're going to focus on Kamala today. We've been focusing on Trump. We still got a couple other things sprinkled in there, but it's definitely going to be very Kamala focused, if that's okay with you all. We got to let everybody in on the fun. All right, we got to let everybody in on the fun. We can't just, show Trump on Gutfeld. I told y'all I would show y'all the Kamala with Oprah interview. We're going to go through all that. But initially, we're going to start off with something fun. Can we start off with something a little bit lighter? All right, so all right, so there was a Michael Eric Dyson. Who's familiar with Michael Eric Dyson? Let me know if you're familiar with Michael Eric Dyson. Y'all let me know if you're familiar with Michael Eric Dyson. And hold on, I got to save this real quick. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff for y'all today. All right, so Michael Eric Dyson, he's a scholar. I believe he's at Vanderbilt University right now. Professor. And I first got introduced to him, I want to say in like 2014, 2015, 2013, somewhere around then. And I was impressed because he just seemed very intelligent. He would use all these sophisticated words. And I just was like, yo, that dude's a smart brother. He would go up there, argue his position, argue his stance. And back then I was probably more aligned with his way of thinking. Not so much now. I think dude is phony. I'm just giving y'all my bias on him. I think he's phony. I think that he is a race baiter. I think he's a poverty pimp. This is just what comes across to me. And that's just, I'm just putting it out there as far as like how I see him. And Boyce Watkins, actually, it's funny, if my dad's listening, he'll laugh at this, but Boyce Watkins actually described Michael Eric Dyson very well one time. And he said, yo, he uses $1 million words to describe dollar situations or penny situations. And it's like, you kind of thought about it. And I'm like, yo, he ain't really saying much. He's just using some big words that, 2 out of, 10 words that he uses, I may not know what it is. So I think that he's actually saying something, just because I'm a little bit confused. Neither here nor there. He was in an exchange with Representative Nancy Mace. So I wasn't familiar with Representative Nancy Mace, and they had a funny back and forth that we're going to take a look at, because Michael Eric Dyson is he's like one of these pro-black guys. Like to me, he's the phony. He's a Jay-Z type. He wrote some books for Jay-Z. So he was the type of person that was like standing behind Colin Kaepernick. Then once Jay-Z decided to move along, he like backed Jay-Z and said, let's give Jay-Z the benefit of the doubt. No, Jay-Z's working with the NFL. Let's work. And he just became a sucker to the Jay-Z system, or whatever you want to call it. He just became a sucker to the system. But let's take a look at this funny exchange. And then he kind of got caught with his hand in that cookie jar, and we're gonna take a look at it. So he got exposed. Let's take a look at this video so y'all can have me. I keep giving y'all I always try to give y'all the lead up. But let me just actually play the video. Y'all probably be sitting back and like, yo, just play the video, bro. We don't need all this. All right, let's play the video.
Respect Kamala Harris. When you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard.
So pretty much, she was sitting at a table with a few other panelists. This is Abby. Is it Abby? Abby's show. I forget whether her last name is Phillips or Douglas. Abby. Yeah. So it's Abby's show. And this was maybe about a month or so ago. This is actually before the debate. And she kept pronouncing Kamala as Kamala. And they kept correcting her from the beginning. And it was Michael Eric Dyson and another black gentleman that may be in here. And they kept correcting her. And she's like, yo, I'm trying to make points. And y'all are correcting me on the name. Like, yo, relax. But they got offended by it. They took it as something that she was doing to be disrespectful. And she got to the point where she's like, yo, I'm going to say it however I say it. Like, let me just make my point. Like, this is where the conversation was around. So I just want to give y'all full context because I didn't want to play y'all the full video. This is just the short. So this is Michael Eric Dyson responding to her.
When you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
You are
it.
intending that
Your
I am
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that is
part and parcel of a
and
tradition
it's
of disrespect.
Why can't you just,
Congresswoman?
and it's,
why can't you just?
Offensive.
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is racist.
You are. You absolutely are.
Let me get it.
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her. Professor, this gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make.
Yo, I don't know if y'all are peeping this. I don't know. Yo, by the way, total side note, I don't need my glasses anymore. I forget that I don't have them on. I went to 6 weeks without glasses, and now I don't even, like, normally looking at a screen, I'll be kind of like, when's... Side note. All right. Did y'all just hear what Michael Eric Dyson said? She just said that Kamala does not know what a woman is. Now, this is that whole Democrat liberal stance. I'm not sure if any of you have seen Matt Walsh's documentary, What is a Woman? I recommend that everybody watch it. He even had, apparently there's like somebody in gender studies now. There's a new role in some of these colleges with gender studies. He's going in and asking different people, what is a woman? And he's asking like these new woke, liberal, super liberal Democrat people, what's a woman? And they can't describe it. You've heard Mark Lamont Hill struggle. There's various people that have done it and they can't, they're so caught up in this, whatever this culture is right now, this trans across the board, LGBTQ. I hate to put everybody in the same category, but they do. So I'll do it. But y'all know I separate the people from the actual movement and the agenda. So I'm talking more about the movement and the agenda. So this is what she's referring to when she says that Kamala Harris does not know what a woman is. Michael Eric Dyson's response, this is black people, this is insane. His response is a white woman a white woman can't tell another black woman what. Listen to it. It's insane.
I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is, to tell them they're not real women.
25.
She didn't say that Kamala wasn't a real woman. And he knows that, but he stumbled a little bit, so he was reaching. Like, how do you make a statement like she doesn't know what a woman is? If you ask a lot of these people, they won't tell you what a woman is. If you ask me what a woman is, very simple. Somebody born with of female organs. capable of having a baby. I don't know and some women obviously are still women that don't have babies, but the organs that are meant to have babies. That's what I would say. Very simple. Some people would say the chromosomes. It's not a complicated answer. But if you look at the documentary, What is a Woman, you will see that a lot of these super liberals will not answer the question. So here he tries to make it about race, saying like a white woman has no right to. This is what liberals have created. Matter of fact, I can't even say just liberals. This is what a lot of I shouldn't say country. All right. So this is what a lot of extreme Republicans have caused, along with a lot of extreme Democrats. Now, why do I say it's the extreme Republicans? A lot of the extreme conservatives, Republicans, the people on that side, y'all are just as worse as the extreme on the other side, in my opinion. Even though I dislike the extremes on the Democratic side a lot more. But when I say that they're both have led to this, for one, you have a society that obviously, we had racism, we had slavery, I shouldn't say we had racism. Obviously, racism is always going to exist. It just is what it is. We were founded on slavery. Then we had Jim Crow, all these different areas where you had a lot of obviously extreme conservatives that were pushing a lot of these racist principles and ideologies, whatever. Then you have the Democrats on the other side, which pretty much allow people like Michael Eric Dyson to pretty much say like black people built this entire country, black people did all this, black people. So a white person doesn't have the right to say anything to a black person that a black person doesn't like. That's what it comes down to. And of course you have Captain Save-A, whatever, Save-A Montel joint, Michael Eric Dyson jumping in. And it's like, you white woman, you can't say that. You can't say that about a black women who died and their blood, sweat, and I don't know if y'all look at this and laugh. I look at it and laugh. It's insane to me, but this is just where we are. This is what the victimhood society has caused. And you can't blame the victimhood society without talking about some of the actual oppression that did happen. But this way of going about it has just created just so much victims. It's hard to deal with. Let's keep going.
They care for your babies.
25 years ago, I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. I fought my way through it.
Of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
So now,
all right. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. All right, so let me hide this for a second, just because I don't want y'all looking at all up in my business. Let me hide this for a sec, and then I want to show y'all. And I thought I showed y'all this initially on Friday. But I don't think I did. All these days run for me. So y'all always let me know if I'm doubling up or just sit back and enjoy it again. But I definitely didn't show this, so I don't think I did. This is her responding. So I don't know how this got to this position. The House Oversight Committee holds a hearing on the Biden-Harris administration's policy failures. I don't know why she decided to choose this platform to say what she's getting ready to say, but I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Listen to this.
It's the gentlelady from South Carolina, Ms. Mace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My colleagues across the aisle said that those that cannot pronounce Kamala's name correctly are elementary-aged children. I would like to enter into the record an article by Newsweek saying Bill Clinton pronounces Kamala Harris' name wrong during DNC speech. Bill Clinton, along with Al Sharpton, rapper Lil Jon. Let's not forget that Joe Biden can't say her name right. Neither can Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. And this morning on Morning Joe, Joan Baez called her a camel. So I don't want to hear it. It's fake outrage. I would like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson.
Oh, man. I don't know if y'all could peep. Hold on. Let me try to make this a little bit. About to expose him. Here it goes. All right, let's keep going.
I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without
then
objection.
The guy
Order.
says,
Damn, homie. Oh man. Oh man. These blackity blacks, man. These blackity blacks. Hey, talking about black women out there. Please do not let these Michael Eric Dysons get you caught up in moving in a particular way because you think that they saving you and speaking up on you. They're just doing what they're doing for different reasons. For different reasons. It has nothing to do with what's in your best interest. A lot of these guys were the nerds that never got girls, and now they're willing to do any and everything, tell you any and everything to have a shot at you. It's all manipulation. It's all them trying to appear one way, but then obviously behind the scenes, now you're trying to flirt with Nancy. Now you're trying to flirt with and send kissy faces to the lady that you basically were saying is what y'all heard. I don't want to say anything that he didn't say on the video. Y'all heard the video, the things that he was accusing her of. So but maybe, obviously you can have differing opinions. You can debate on a show, but that doesn't mean that you have to hate each other after it. So let's give Michael Eric Dyson the benefit of doubt as we continue to listen.
I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent. I'm man. Shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without
then
objection.
The guy
Order.
says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala. And if we're going to have that standard, you got to hold it to both sides, not just one or the other. On to the issue at hand.
I mean, does she not make a good point? She said Al Sharpton pronounced it wrong. I don't think anybody jumped on stage and said, or anybody yelled from the audience, Kamala. And I should show y'all. So let me do this. I wasn't going to show you this. But hold on. Let me see if I can get you a piece of. Matter of fact, no, we're not going to do that. I was going to show y'all exactly how they were interrupting her, but we're going to move on. We got to move on to Michael Eric Dyson's response. So we got to take a look at his response to this. We have to. It's necessary. All right. So hold on. Let's move on to that. And it's so funny. I was talking to one of my bros yesterday. And he actually knows Michael Eric Dyson, his dad. And he sent it to his dad like, yo, Pops, don't ever get caught up doing something like this. And not what he did as far as reaching out there, sending the kissy face, but don't get caught up looking like how Michael Eric Dyson's getting ready to look in this response where he looks so out of touch. It's like he doesn't even understand what he's saying. So this is what the caption reads. My response to the ridiculous claims of Nancy Mace. I must admit one error about her. Although I claim she wasn't a racist, she is indeed a sorry racist who is seeking to distort the truth and tell lies. But as you'll see here, she's trafficking in untruths. And I guess me calling Reverend Jesse Jackson gorgeous in my article about him in the Chicago Sun-Times means I was trying to hit on him. I suppose me calling Ray Freddie Haynes a viral man and honeyed slice of masculinity means I was hitting on him. Whoa. Yeah, see, once again, he's using somebody look up VIRILE. I'm not sure what that means. And a honeyed slice of masculinity means I was hitting on him, or calling Boris Kojo gorgeous meant I was hitting on him. I don't usually respond to nonsense, but I had to get this off my chest. Yeah, you did not have to let anybody know that you were calling all these men gorgeous. This is just another example. I hadn't even read the caption. But this is just another example of just out of touch. Like, yo, we got to be aware. We need people in our lives. We need people in our lives that will keep it real with us, because this was not the way to go. But let's take a look at it anyway.
Hey, my friends, Michael Eric Dyson here. Just want to clear something up. A vicious untruth and rumor that's being spread by Congresswoman Nancy Mace, claiming I was trying to hit on her. So I'm trying to figure this out. So this is our complete text exchange that she says proves I was trying to hit on her.
So he's almost like introducing it as something as if the complete text exchange is any different than what she said it was. So let's hear him out.
We were on CNN together. She was vicious. She was nasty. She refused to call Kamala Harris by her right name. We had a bitter exchange about that. She claims in the interview that I called her racist when I went out of my way to say she wasn't a racist. I said, you're a wonderful woman. But let me say this to you, because I know you probably didn't understand this or mean it. But when you call Kamala Harris out of her name, that is perpetuating a legacy of inequality and of white subordination of black people. Oh, so you called me a racist? No, I didn't. So
is there a difference between when a white woman messes up Kamala's name, or when a white man messes up Kamala's name, compared to an Al Sharpton, a Lil Jon, or anybody else? Or let me just say this, or somebody that's not in your political party pushing the same agenda that you're pushing? Is there a difference? I don't know. I'm just asking. And maybe there should be. I'm just asking.
She's looking for some reason to try to exploit the situation. This is the text exchange. I sent her, Abby Phillip, the host of the show, suggested we take pictures. I said, let's take a picture. She said, Abby said, when you post it, then tag me too. And then we'll have fun, because the whole
you could tell when somebody starts scrambling, then we'll have fun.
point was two bipolar opposites, Michael Eric Dyson on one side, Nancy Mace on the other. So I sent her and she said, great pick. And I said, shh, don't tell anybody. We look good together, with a laughing face and a kissy face. And my point was,
You see, he tried to throw the kissy faces if it's not with a laughing face and a kissy face. Like,
shh, don't tell anybody, because we are bipolar opposites. You're
fellas. Sending the kissy face. And I will admit this. Hold on. One thing I will admit, that if sending the kissy face to a woman, we already do guys even really send kissy faces to women? Let me not say.
on one side of the spectrum and I'm on the other side of the spectrum. And she said, ha, 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 ha. And I said, well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that.
You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that.
And a little smiley face. Again, I'm just saying that trying to be nice to her in the belief and the effort that if I'm nice to her and I prove that we don't have any bitter consequences from our fracas on television.
All right, we're gonna listen to like 30 more seconds of this, then we gotta move on to Kamala with Oprah.
That we can be relatively kind to each other, and I'm being nice to her. There's no hitting on you. I said, by the way, I've spoken twice at the Citadel. She said, oh, that's awesome, and sent 3 American flags, and I hit the exclamation point. She put a heart on the, well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that. Then she removed the heart two days later because she knew she was up to some mayhem. I ain't tried to hit on this woman on no day. Then later on, she called me and Keith Boykin, my fellow panelists, boys. So here I am trying to be nice to her, to be gracious to her, to compliment her, to suggest that she was, a human being, that she had been one.
All right. Does anybody think, this is what happened. This is what happened. He threw something out there. He threw a feeler out there. And every dude knows this. You throw a feeler out there and you're going to wait to see how they respond, to see how you follow up on it. Like, he just shouldn't have made this video. He should not have made this video. This was a very Trump type of thing to do. Michael Eric Dyson, not a fan of Trump. This is like Trump saying he hates Taylor Swift after Taylor Swift endorses Kamala. You didn't have to say anything. You didn't have to say anything. This is that. This is being impulsive. Like, somebody should have said, bro, don't even respond. Let it die down. It is what it is. he sounds crazy in this, but I'm not mad that he said it, I guess. It's just, bro, you know what you were doing. You got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Just acknowledge it. Like, yo, Nancy, you know, she's a beautiful woman. You know, I was trying to see what's up. I'm a single guy. If he is single, I don't know. If he's not, I guess that would be a problem. I don't know what they got going on there, you know, to each their own. But come on, bro. You look crazy. You look crazy.
Wonderful. I said she looked gorgeous that night. Now she's trying to turn this into me hitting on you.
All right. We'll leave that there. But I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. Clearly you are hitting on her. Like, stop trying to play the games, bro. Stop trying to play the games, bro. All right, so let's look. We're gonna go to this Oprah event. All right, so this Oprah Unite for America. Kamala and Oprah. Can Oprah save the day for Kamala? I don't know. Maybe she doesn't need to have the day saved. But what we're gonna do is, obviously, this is an hour and a half long. We're not listening to an hour and a half, especially when you throw in my responses, which will make it probably 4 hours for us to get through it. We're just going to go to certain points. We're going to go to certain points. So I have about like 6 or 7 timestamps that we're going to go to. And then we're going to look at another interview that she did with the National Association of Black Journalists. That was the same group that Trump had the funny interview that we reviewed with them, where they started off pretty hostile. And apparently Kamala thinks that this group started off a little hostile. And now that I'm actually looking through the timestamps, we probably won't get to that video that I was talking about until Wednesday. But let's start off. So let's start off with, I think we're at 9 minutes and 10 seconds. We're going to start off with Chris Rock. So Chris Rock came on here. We'll listen to a little bit of why he wanted to be involved in Unite for America and why he's endorsing Kamala Harris. So let's play that.
Running for, I remember writing her a check when she was like the district attorney.
And Kiki, we saw you. He was definitely shooting his shot. Like, women know, like, and it's on you, ladies. Don't act like, and when this type of situation happens, be aware. Be aware. How you respond is going to determine where the trajectory of this friendship, relationship, whatever it is, where it goes. So, yeah, let's move on.
Something. Maybe it was to get out of a parking ticket or something. But I've been writing her checks for a long time, and I just want to bring my daughters to the White House to meet this Black woman president.
So he was asked why he's supporting Kamala. His answer is that he wants to bring his daughters to the White House so they can see a Black woman president. We are trying to solve the problems of racism with racism. These are all things that generate, when you play identity politics, that's what leads to, whether indirectly or directly, racism. Like, I thought we were done with, I guess I was just done with it. We did this with Barack. When you just vote for somebody or you just do something and determine whether or not you do something based on their gender or the color of their skin, is that not a problem? Aren't these the same principles that said, okay, well, white people, we're going to have this, Black people, we're not going to get. These are the same thoughts that went into when it came to slavery, right? Now, of course, it's on an entirely different level. But when you're making decisions that are determined on race in particular, why do we think that that's an okay thing to do? And I understand. I'm one of the people that, seeing Barack Obama as president, that does inspire. So I get the inspirational aspect of all this. But we have to be adults. Disney movies inspire kids. I just watched Aladdin last night. Like, it inspires you in certain ways. It inspires you to think, oh, the world can be such an amazing place. I get all that. But when we're actually making decisions of who's going to run our country, when we're involved in different wars, when we're involved in, when we have a terrible economy, when we have a terrible health in our country, where we got diabetes, all these different diseases, all these different things and challenges that we face in America, do we really think that that's the honorable thing to do, to vote for somebody because I just want to bring my daughters to the White House and let them see a Black woman? But nothing else matters. The only thing when it comes to the Democrats that matter, and Kamala, and this is what she's pushing, is an emotional attachment to her. They are trying to sell us on the emotions. That's why everything is about joy. That's why it's like, well, put the policies to the side. You know my history as a prosecutor. It's like she acts like she's not even in office. She acts as if she's not even in office, and she gets the excuse of it. So my question for Chris Rock was, is this honorable? Or is this selfish and reckless? Because what ends up happening, the things that you vote for, you can afford to vote for Kamala just because she's a black woman. Because the policies of Kamala compared to the policies of Trump, you're still going to be wealthy. You're still going to be rich. You're still going to be one of the greatest of all time comedians. Like, you're still going to be that. So it doesn't matter for you. But why I say is it's selfish and reckless, because now you're convincing others. Like, it would be different if you came on here and said, hey, I think that we should vote for Kamala because of this policy, the way that she sees these things, the way that she moves as a leader, all these different things. But when you just say it's because she's a black woman, now you're using your influence to pass that on to the people that follow you. As you are a celebrity, we live in this idolatry culture, just is what it is. Now you're inspiring other people to just make decisions based on, oh, well, she's just a black woman. That's enough. That's enough. And then you hear Oprah. Hold on. What did Oprah say in response to this?
To meet this black woman president.
And then people clap. It's like, that's really what we're going for? Then, hey, Mom, if you're listening, Mom, can you run for president? If that's the only qualifications that we're looking for, if that's the reason why we're excited about, that's what we're going to highlight. If that's what we're continuing to highlight, yes, we know she's a black woman. Can we talk about some of the other things that she's going to implement as a president that she didn't implement currently as a vice president? Like, doesn't it have to be more than just being a black woman, or maybe not?
That's a reason.
You hear Oprah?
That's a reason.
That's a reason.
That's a reason.
That's the reason. I think she would make a great president.
And, you know, what if a white guy came and said, I just want to see a white man in office? You know, like, I just want to see a white man back in office. Now, of course, it'd be different because people would say, well, shoot, we got a white man in office now. We've had plenty of white men. Obviously, the history, there's been a lot more white women in office. I mean, white men in office. Okay, cool. I hear your point. What if an Indian guy? What if Indian people? What if Asian people? What if, I don't know, any other group? I just want to see an Indian in office. I don't care about anything else. I just want to see an Indian in office. What if somebody came and said, I just want to see a white woman in office? Could you imagine the response? And obviously it's different. It's a different situation, so I get it. But still, when you're leading with these type of responses, when you complain about the history of racism in this country, but then you lead by making decisions solely based on race and gender, I guess, in this position, that's a problem. It's only going to lead to a cycle. So now we'll have more and more black people just voting for black. All right, so then black's hot right now. Then what does that create now? Now that creates the extreme on the other end. Man, I'm tired of black people. I want white people. It's always going to be a back and forth. Maybe that's the reason why it was a lot easier for Trump when 2016, how he was campaigning then, which I couldn't stand him. I'll be totally honest. I thought he was racist. But maybe that's why certain things were pushed. And maybe that was why that was the perfect time for him to running how he was running, or at least how I perceived it at the time, because we just had a black president for 8 years. So it's like, yeah, we need to get a white. It's just going to produce a cycle that we claim we don't want to live in, but to each their own.
I'm ready to turn the page, man.
Yeah.
All the hate, the negativity, it's got to stop.
Yeah, we're so sick of the negativity. Thank you so much, Chris, for being up this early in the morning in London. Thank you.
Oh, did y'all just peep that? Listen to what she just said.
The negativity. Thank you so much, Chris, for being up this early in the morning in London. Thank you.
My man's in London. I wouldn't even have said that if I was her. Maybe that's why he doesn't care about what goes on, what's going on here. Is he living out in London? I don't know. Maybe he's living out in London and he doesn't care about what's going on in America. Maybe he just, I don't know. I'm sure he'll be back. Maybe he's just out there touring or something. Yeah. I guess when you spend a lot of time outside the America, it doesn't really affect you as much. But let's go on. So there's a group of Win for Women. So apparently this was the group that got on the call. So right after Joe Biden dropped out of the race, remember that evening, I think it was a Sunday evening where 50,000 or something crazy like that, some number, I think it was 50,000 black women and then 50,000 friends of the black women, whatever. She's going to explain it, I believe. I'm not sure if we'll listen to, this is the president of that organization's entire speech. However, let's hear her out. Let's hear her out. So let's go to 11 minutes. We're right here.
3 hours after Kamala, we knew that she was going to step into this candidacy.
First of all, Oprah, this is amazing to just be united. And that night, black women everywhere, we knew one thing. We wanted to gather in our joy, and we knew that we needed to get to work. And on that night, black women, the 44,000 on that Zoom, and the additional 50,000 black women and our friends that joined to watch that Zoom, what we knew was that it was a moment in our country to show what black women have always done. That love letter that I often speak of.
Time out, man. And this is what we gotta bring it back to what we've discussed before regarding this situation. Joe Biden drops out. Now, for most Democrats, I know people at that time were calling for him to drop out after the debate with Trump. I know we've been having the conversation for over a year and a half thinking that they were going to do this. We weren't surprised. However, if Joe Biden drops out on a Sunday and a few hours later, I think they said 3 hours later, they had this call, and I believe it went for, into the night, well into the night. Do you not have to discuss with your significant other? Do you not have to discuss with your significant other? Like, shouldn't that be the thing? Like, okay, hey, Biden's out, Kamala's running. At the time, I don't think people knew whether there was going to be a primary or anything like that, but it was just this group, we're putting all our support behind Kamala. And we've talked about this on the show before, but, got to remind ourselves, shouldn't you have spoken to your husband, spoken to some of the family members before you just get on and decide to make a decision? But this is why the Democrats and the liberals do not want strong male black leaders in the household. You're witnessing it right now in the things that she's saying. The first thing that should have been done is a family meeting. Forget a Zoom meeting. Let's have a family meeting. But who knows? For a lot of these black women, we know that our rates, we know that there's a gender war going on. And I say between black men and black women, I'm talking specifically about this group, but it's actually growing. And we've said this now a lot, where the things that we used to just see as black problems happening in the black communities, those problems we're now seeing across America, culture, period. So it's now the same gender war between, I'm not saying that it's the same, obviously a different history there, so it impacts us differently, but now there's also a gender war between white men and white women, younger white men and younger white women. Just ask them. Just ask people. Ask people how hard it is to date. Ask people why people are not having kids, why people are not getting married, why people are staying single. Just ask the younger generation and they'll tell you. So my question is, and this is, we're skipping over the problems here. It's a problem for her to just jump on a Zoom without talking to her family, without talking to her husband, without talking to her, even if you want to call it partner, whatever we're calling it these days. Wouldn't that be common sense? But instead it's no, just we're putting all our support behind Kamala. We're not going to look at her record. We're not going to look at anything. It's just straight identity politics. Why? Because if Kamala's in office as president, it uplifts and empowers us. Never mind what it does to the black men. Never mind if it emasculates them. Not saying that it does or it doesn't. I can give y'all an opinion on that, but not for right now. These are the questions that I have. when I hear her speaking. But let's continue.
Yeah, that love letter is a letter that started years before any of us in this room, you, myself, were even born. And it started by Black women years ago who knew this moment would be here. But they worked, and they knew they wouldn't see it, but one day we would. And I just think that it is an honor for all of us to be able to usher in this moment, knowing that those who watered this mighty field are now allowing us to eat of the fruit.
Whoa! Thank you so much. And so, as I said, that call for Win with Black Women is what inspired all the other groups. So White Dudes for Harris raised a bunch of money. Lead organizer Ross Morales Roquetto is here, right? Ross? And I hear that my producer told me you've been working in politics a long time, and that really for more than 20 years, and that you said you hadn't seen anything like this.
I haven't seen anything like this since 2008.
Yep.
When President Obama was elected, and when he got elected.
I haven't seen anything like this where people just vote for a candidate and get excited about a candidate because of their race since Barack Obama. Since 2008. Do we realize what we're saying? It doesn't make any sense. It's all emotional excitement. Emotional excitement, us embracing our emotions in almost any other aspect of our lives. And excusing logic puts us in a terrible position. Think about that. In any other area of our lives, when we overwhelmingly prioritize emotions rather than prioritizing logic, we typically put ourselves in bad situations. But here it's encouraged when we're choosing who's going to lead our country.
It was about a newness and a hope. This time, it's about an exuberance and an excitement that you only get from hard-fought wins and hard-fought losses and knowing what's at stake. And that's why we're not going back.
That's why we're not going back.
All right.
Thank you, Oprah.
Black men. Khalil, what you so
we got to
much.
hear this one.
Khalil Thompson is the founder of Win with Black Men. Khalil, what do you want Black men to know about this election?
Well, thank you, Oprah and Ms. Winfrey, for allowing us to be here and share in this amazing moment tonight. Brothers, men who are watching this and enjoying this moment, you have a choice. I choose experience and fortitude over something else. I come from a litany of amazing Black women, Kathy, Jahan, Megan Janelle, and I have an amazing 7-year-old CEO who runs my life. Hopefully she at home, finished her homework.
I would never have a drink with this guy.
But we have a chance to do a performance review and give a promotion.
I shouldn't have said that. But it's just like, bro.
To the best qualified candidate to be president of the United States.
Okay, so let me.
There's no way that you believe that she's the best qualified candidate to be like the president of the United States. There's just no way that you can believe that. There's no way that you can prove that or you can back that up with anything logically. With anything logically, there's no way.
Let me just ask you this.
Listen to this.
Sorry.
Listen to this.
Sorry.
Yo, pay attention to this, and y'all peep if y'all tell me if y'all peep this the way that I peep it. I may be off. Y'all know I told y'all sometimes I connect dots that I'm like, yo, you don't see that dot? And the dot may not be there.
On the way here, when I was coming through the airport, Black man stopped me and he said I guess he knew I was coming here for something like this, and he goes.
All right, let me hold on. Before we get into that, I just want to read some of the comments. My fault. So Brandon wrote. The Hollywood elite have followers because of their stardom, not because they are any smarter than anyone else. Shame on voters who do not do their own homework to expose the lies. So, Brandon, you bring up an interesting point, and I actually called my parents about this weekend. I called my parents about this weekend because I've said on the show before that we don't deserve a democracy. We don't deserve a democracy. And maybe that's the wrong way to say it. Maybe we do deserve a democracy, but maybe just a democracy is not going to put us in the best position to be successful. Think about this. So this is a total side note. Let me actually hide this real quick. I don't want when with black men. I don't want y'all mistaking me for rocking with this dude. All right. Think about this. What do the majority of people choose day to day when it comes to decisions? Do people choose to be honorable? Do people choose to be righteous? Do people choose to make the right decisions, or do people choose to make the comfortable decisions, the fun decisions, the easy decisions? What will most people choose? Like, in most people, just look at the results of our lives. When you see how unhealthy we are as a society, how ignorant in a lot of things that we are as a society, do you think that most people, I'll give an example. This is just the easiest one. Most people know that you should do something active throughout the day. Most people know that you should eat vegetables or fruits throughout the day. But do most people, based on us being as unhealthy of a society as we are, do we think that most people are making the decisions that are going to put us in the best position to be successful, to be healthy, to be financially sound? Or are we going to make the decisions that are fun, that are comfortable, and that are easier? Most of the time, in my opinion, we're going to choose the comfort and the ease. So when we have the majority of people in a country that are choosing the easy way, choosing comfort, choosing voting in their day-to-day lives, or I'm going to vote to, I'm going to eat ice cream and fried chicken instead of eating this salad. So now we're responsible for voting for people. I do not trust, like where do we think that this is going to lead to when you have a democracy, when most people will choose comfort and ease? It's going to lead us to a cycle of chaos, which is what we're in right now, which is what we continue to be in a lot of cases. And that's why you always have people that are saying that, well, this election is the most important election of your lives and da-da-da. This is why. So why do we trust our fellow Americans to make a rational decision when it comes to voting for somebody? We don't trust our fellow Americans with making decisions about anything, but we trust them in this case. So these are kind of just the thoughts that I was having in my mind as to, I don't know, maybe y'all see it differently, but we have the majority of people. I'll give you an example. I told my parents this. I said, it's funny how everybody wants to push a democracy. Everybody thinks a democracy is the best way, right? Because the opposite is a dictatorship. Okay, cool. I'm asking all of y'all that are listening, just like I asked my parents. We push democracy, but when it comes to putting food on our table, we put all of our hope in a dictatorship. Y'all probably sitting there like, what is he talking about? Like, how do we push democracy, but we put all of our hope in a dictatorship? Your job. That's what you rely on to put food on your table, right? That's not a democracy. Your boss ain't coming in and talking to the janitors, to the secretary, to everybody in the company and saying, hey, let's vote on what we're going to do next quarter. Let's vote on the direction that we're going to move in. No. It's decided by the elite, the board, right? The chairman of the board has his conciliaires, whatever you want to call it, that help him make decisions. That's a dictatorship. The clients that I have, that's a dictatorship. They own surgery centers. There's nobody they're not asking the majority of everybody that works in the company about decisions that they're making. They're making decisions. They want to fire somebody, they fire somebody. They want to hire somebody, they hire somebody. Look at the biggest companies around the world. Look at the companies that flourish and function the best. Do we think that they're democracies? I know that Google, everybody likes to make it seem like Google, oh, they give you free dry cleaning and you could eat here. It's a dictatorship. It's a dictatorship. So we rely on, when it comes to putting food on the table, we embrace the dictatorship, but then we want a democracy when it comes to voting. Am I seeing that wrong? The people, this is why there will always be more average people than great people. Because most people will make the decision of ease and comfort and fun and enjoyment compared to the decision that comes with discipline, hard work, missing fun, all those things that it takes to be great, doing the things that you don't want to do, doing the things that don't feel comfortable. Those are all aligned with success. But the majority of us, that's why Democrats will always have a group of people that they can sell their product, their victimhood product to. Because what the Democrats do is tell you, all the people that make the decisions of comfort, when you have two clear decisions that you can make. You can take the disciplined approach, less fun, more work, lock in, and that be that way. Or you could take the approach the other way. The more fun, I just want to live life free. Oh, cool. The Democrats will justify that group that chooses comfort and say, hey, the reason why you're not successful is not for any other reason, but for these. It's because you need us. It's not the playing field's not leveled. No, it's because you're choosing comfort. That's why you're not successful. Hold on. Did the camera just go? Hold up. See, you know what we're going to do here? So I think the camera, hold on. Let me reset. They try to play me with this. Hold on. There we go. Give me a second. Oh, they caught me while I was cooking. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me just turn off this Wi-Fi. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. You know what? We'll just go this way. We'll just go this way. Hold on. Give me a second. Because they tried to stop me right when I was cooking. Come on now. We'll go this way. We got different camera angles. You know what I mean? If we need to switch it up for a second. Oh, it seems like it's working now. So let me go back to it. Let me go back to it. Hold on 1 second. Oh, this dumb thing. Whatever. We'll just do it on here. It's all good. Hold on. Let me just make sure that y'all can see me before I keep going. Let me just make sure they keep trying to cut me, bro. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'll reset the camera as I'm going to keep talking about exactly what I was talking about. But yeah, we have to understand what we're choosing. We have to understand what we're choosing. And maybe that was just a sign for me to just move on, because we got a lot of things to discuss. And I don't want to just get caught up on this issue. So let's keep going a little bit. I think I made the point. So shout out to YouTube for telling me I either move on, whatever. All right, I got y'all. So let's keep going with the video. And I do want to catch up on some of the comments. So give me a second. Let me catch up on some of the comments. I know I've been going off on my tangents. Hold on. Oh, I'm seeing some interesting ones. All right, so let's get all right, let me catch up on these. That was the sign for me to catch up on these comments. So Alana said, I guess we will see if we have a woman president after the freak off list comes out. Kamala I saw Vaughn's right. That was Kamala on the list going to the parties with Montel. Yeah, I got some interesting comments about that. Brandon wrote, racism is weakened by displays like this, entirely misplaced values and misplaced intelligence. I would be excited to vote for a woman that has leadership attributes and can be a solid rep for USA. I always say that Tulsi Gabbard is an example. Tulsi Gabbard is an example of somebody that I could see myself voting for. I'm entertaining Jill Stein. I'm still entertaining Jill Stein, even though I'm leaning Trump right now. I'm leaning Trump. It is what it is. I'm leaning Trump, but I'm hearing out Jill Stein. And I shouldn't even say that I'm leaning Trump, because it doesn't really matter until I make a decision for me. But I'm looking at Jill Stein as well. So, but Tulsi Gabbard would be somebody. But it has to be based on policies. It can't just be based on, yo, she's a black woman. Like, yeah, cool. All right. Jupiter wrote, that win with black men is a bunch of buck-broken beta shills. You see, now you get what I mean. It's like, bro, you got the T-shirt over the button down. Like, what's going on here? It's just like these are the guys. These are the guys that will do any and everything to get the attention of these women that they never got when they were in high school and elementary school, middle school. That's what's going on right now. They choose a decision that makes them feel good. That's going back to Cousins. Cousins going back to the point. What do we choose? We always choose what feels good and wonder why we're in a position where we always are not successful, because we choose what feels good. We get caught up in emotions. This is why people should go into sales, because you understand more how somebody's trying to sell you on something. And that's what we're experiencing right now. Brandon wrote, since when does Oprah know who the best president should be? She's using her race and her fame to force her candidate upon us. Sadly, some will fall for it. Yeah, Oprah, we want to, before we talk anything about you telling us who we should vote for, let's talk about you choosing to take Ozempic or whatever else you tried to make it seem like it wasn't Ozempic, to take Ozempic, a drug that is made for something totally different that a lot of people in the United States are taking to lose weight, when the company that put out the drug said that this is not what its intended use is for. So let's talk about that. But we're supposed to trust your decision on who to vote for president, but we can't even trust you, somebody that has all the resources to have the greatest trainer in the world, to have the greatest chef in the world, but you can't lose weight the natural way. Knock it off. Jupiter wrote, Plato warned us about dangers of democracy. There's a lot of danger. I mean, just think about how much do we, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but do y'all not just sit around society and just think like, yo, these people are dumb? Everybody, all of us. I'm sure people say the same thing about me. Walking around, you just feel like, yo, I'm in a world where like everybody complains about everybody. So now everybody's just comfortable with everybody just, voting for something. It's just like we need to fix our culture, fix our mindset, in my opinion. But it's hard to sell somebody on dictatorship, because the problem with dictatorship is you can get an amazing dictator, an amazing CEO of the company, but then you can also have a terrible one. And we can't afford it. So I understand that there's a balance. I'm just pointing out the issues in both. All right, so it didn't work for the geeks. Time out. There's 23,000 people in the building right now. We need 23,000 likes right now on this video. There's 23,000 people right now in the building. Can we get 23,000 likes? How do we have 4 likes on this video right now? It's because I didn't ask y'all. My apologies. In rule in sales, you got to ask for things. You got to ask for things. You got to ask for the sale. So I'm asking y'all, like. All right, let's move on. All right, so Ursi wrote, you can get fired for sneezing at Google and Apple. Yep, it's a dictatorship. People try to act like they're companies, and you see that a lot with companies, and maybe it was, ever since 2020 where employees had more say so, it seemed like, especially with the pandemic, they could use, their leverage a little bit. But no, this is a dictatorship. Stop letting dictators fool you into thinking that you're in a democracy. Like your job that you report to, that you bank on. Because let me ask you this. If you're working a job, right? You're working a job. Mostly everybody complains about the people that they work with. So let me ask y'all this. You're working a job. If you're and unplug from the 9-to-5 mindset. It's important to unplug from this 9-to-5 mindset. I'm gonna tell you why. Most people are in 9-to-5s. It is what it is. Okay. 9-to-5, people who work 9-to-5 get the same paycheck every week, whether the company's doing bad, company's doing amazing. Hey, just give me my steady check. I'm good. Every 2 weeks, whatever we do, I'm cool with it. Let me ask you a question. If you were working for this company and your check was based on how well the company does, if the company didn't do so well, then that means that the amount that you get in your check is going to be less. Company does exceptionally well, that means the same thing. That means, hey, I need a bigger check because the company's doing well. If that was the case, would you be okay with every decision in that company being made as a democracy? Would you be cool with everybody on your team? We could even do this with sports. There's certain decisions that I think Tom Brady should be making over a lot of other players on the team. I think Tom Brady should have more of a say. But let's look at it at your job. Would you rather the head of the company that's proven to be successful, or somebody that comes with a background at actually leading and making decisions? Would you rather that, or would you say, no, every decision we make in this company is based on everybody having a vote? It's a total democracy. Y'all would not be putting food on y'all table. Y'all would not be putting food on y'all table. Let's be real. People like to say that they would knock it off. You would choose, let that dude who's been running it, because truth be told, I don't know what's going on. Let's be real. Mama Lay in the building. Earth Rose, Starlink. Yeah, Yo, Earth. Yo, somebody take Lana, take Earth's phone. Hey, yo. A dictator. Oh, man. All right, let's get back to the video. Because there's a lot of things that we got to touch on before we got interrupted by YouTube.
Well, I'm just tell you, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump because here.
Sorry.
Sorry. On the way here, when I was coming through the airport, black man stopped me and he said I guess he knew I was coming here for something like this, and he goes, "Well, I'm just tell you, I'm voting for Trump. And I'm voting for Trump because he gave me that check." And so I've heard that from several people, that I got the check, he gave us the check, and so therefore, forget about everything else. It's about the checks.
Well, what he doesn't know is that Congress actually paid for the check and the American people paid for it. 45 just signed it, so. Yeah. Okay. Look, all
right, we got to unpack that. I'm going to the notes. I had to bring out the notes on this one. Is this thing still, is the video still not showing? Hold on. Whatever, we're not even gonna play around with it. We'll just be here for today. We're not even gonna play around with it. All right, so when it comes to, we gotta unpack that. We have to unpack that. And Queez just wrote, everybody doesn't deserve a say so, but every company has a board of advisors. Of course, and every dictator has a board of advisors. All you gotta do is look at Game of Thrones. The king and the queens, they got their board of advisors. So it's not just because it's called a dictatorship, like, everybody has their advisors. Even Putin has his advisors. So it's like, it's still a dictatorship. But yeah, I get what you're saying, though, Queez. I definitely get what you're saying. A lot of funny. All right, so we got to unpack this. So first off, Oprah. Did y'all peep what Oprah just did? Did y'all peep what Oprah just tried to do? All right, so Oprah, she's making it seem like, and y'all know I peep all potential disrespect. I peep all potential disrespect. It may not be disrespect, but I peep it so I can process it, figure out like, yo, is she trying to disrespect me? Is he trying to disrespect me? Is he trying to play me? Is she trying to trying to I peep all potential disrespect. She's trying to make it seem like the black men that support Trump aren't the intelligent individuals, but the ignorant ones that are only making a decision based on a stimulus check. That's what she's trying to, she's trying to, like, good try, Oprah. And for the majority of people, I don't even think the people that are going to peep, I don't think people will care or even peep what she just tried to do. Here we have a lot of black men that are leaving their support for the Democratic Party and do not want to support Kamala and did not want to support Biden. She's trying to make it seem as if those black men are just like the ignorant ones, the ones that are do it for a stimulus check, when actually it's to me, I think it's quite the opposite. The black men that are leaving the Democratic Party are the thinkers. The people that just don't go along with, hey, what Master said, what we doing? Those are the thinkers. The people that continue to vote for the people that continue to show them that they will not do any, or they haven't done anything. You voted for these people for the last 40, 50 years, and they haven't shown you anything but the fact that they will prioritize everybody else's agenda over yours. But she tries to make it seem as if the black people, the black men in particular, that are not trying to support Kamala, that are not supporting the Democratic Party anymore. She's trying to make it seem like they're just the ignorant ones that are out here looking for a stimulus check. Let's get through this. How he responds. He says that Trump only signed it. Hold on. Let's go back to this. Hold on. Let's go back and hear what his response to this, because we got to keep the same energy.
For the check, and the American people paid
Let's
for it.
listen to this. Hold on.
That Congress.
About everything else, it's about the checks.
Well, what he doesn't know is that Congress actually paid for the check, and the American people paid for it.
So those stimulus checks, all Trump did was just sign it, right? Isn't this what he says?
45 just signed it. So yeah.
Okay, so 45. So we're gonna call Nancy Mace racist because she says Kamala Harris's name wrong, which like a lot of other people are saying it wrong. But then we'll call Donald Trump 45. So that's cool. Cool, neither here nor there. I don't care. It is what it is. I'm just pointing it out. I just peep. He said that we paid for it. Donald Trump just signed it, right? So taxpayers, American citizens, we pay. I'm looking at the wrong camera. We pay. We're the ones paying for it. The stimulus check, that came out of our money. That came out of our taxes. So let me ask you a question, because I'm glad that you kept that energy, black man, win for black men, or win with black, whatever your organization is. I'm glad that you kept that same energy. So should we also navigate or use that energy and that approach and that perspective when we're talking about the migrant crisis? Because all these benefits that the migrants are getting, people that were incentivized to come here by Democrats, by the liberals, by the politicians, I should say, not the people that were incentivized to come here, and they get all these benefits where they're getting we're going to help you buy a house. We're going to help you, make sure that you could eat with the food stamps. We're going to help you with housing, all these different things that migrants are getting when they're coming here. We're paying for them. So Biden just signed it, right? So I'm just trying to keep the same energy. He said that Trump didn't, it's not like Trump came out of pocket for the stimulus checks. I guess that he felt the need to say that. So I guess it's not Biden coming out of pocket to provide the aid for a lot of the migrants coming in. It's not Biden coming out of pocket to provide the aid for what's going on between Israel and Palestine. It's not Biden that's coming out of pocket to provide the aid for Ukraine. It's our money. It's coming out of our dollars, our taxes. But it's just funny how in one instance, when it suits your purpose, you'll downplay, oh, he just signed it. But then on the other end, it's like, y'all see what I'm doing. Y'all see what I'm doing. Y'all see exactly what I'm doing. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let me make sure that I ain't got any. And Josh said it. I highly doubt a black man came up to her and said that, but go off, oh. I highly doubt that Oprah passed any black man in her traveling there or regarded or acknowledged any black man that came up to her and said that. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. So I'm with you on that, Ja. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, there's a...
So what do you want to say to that kind of thinking? Because a lot of people feel that way.
We're not a monolith. You can have your viewpoint and views for where you believe, but I think choosing, if I have the choice to go into someone to make the best decision for my family, I don't want someone who has 34 convictions. I don't want someone who is going to choose hate over choosing the best possible way to unite us as a country. And so I see Vice President Harris as being the best person to do that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
So the first thing that he mentioned was he doesn't want anybody with 34 convictions. Interesting. Y'all know I told y'all I connect these dots that may not always be there, or maybe they're just faded a little bit. Aren't you the party of reform? Aren't you the party of, hey, these men that are locked up, a lot of these black men that were locked up for selling these drugs that are now selling weed? Aren't you the party of reforming people, of giving people an opportunity? That's embracing the victimhood, right? They were locked up for things, and then now we're trying to help reform them, right? Isn't that more the Democrat mindset? So let me ask you a question. This guy that does not want to vote for somebody that has 34 convictions, and this may be me reaching. This may be me reaching, but I'm just vulnerable enough with y'all to where I feel comfortable to reach, and y'all can pull me back in. Cool. You're not comfortable voting for somebody for 34 convictions, with 34 convictions. If you were a business owner, would you be comfortable hiring somebody who maybe got convicted of a crime previously? Or would that person have to go to a conservative company who doesn't care as much or whatever? I don't know. Because what I'm starting to see is a pattern of a lot of these Democrats. It's a pattern of a lot of these Democrats, and it's the same thing that I mentioned when it came to the sanctuary cities, or with a lot of these Democratic politicians encouraging and incentivizing a lot of migrants to come here illegally. They don't live there. They don't live there. So they talk about all these ideal utopic principles and way of life, but they don't actually suffer from the things that come along with it. They don't live in the communities where they're bringing migrants to. But they'll talk about, hey, we need to be a sanctuary city. But you're not living in that area. You're not living in the area that is having the police defunded. You're living in an area where, hey, it's no problem, wealthy, you got no problem. You call the police and they get there in a jiffy. They push ideals and they push agendas that they don't have to suffer from the challenges and problems that come along with those agendas. So you'll have somebody get up here and say, I don't want to vote for somebody with 34 convictions. Aren't you the party of reform? Aren't you the ones that are supposed to give people a shot who may have made mistakes in the past? And that doesn't obviously talk about these 34 convictions. It's not even, I don't even think it's a serious thing, to be totally honest. I don't look at it like a lot of the other crimes that may have been committed by people that actually were legit convictions. But it's just something that I noticed. It's just something that I noticed. I don't know. But for the party of reform, it doesn't seem like you want to give somebody a shot to redeem themselves. It doesn't seem that way. So what did Jupiter write? That man has been beta, buck, broken, simp all over him. That man has beta, buck, broken, simp all over him. No man in their right mind would say that. Biden and his family have plenty of crimes. And that's the thing. Biden, come on now. You were going to vote for Biden. You probably voted for Hillary. Do we really want to go down that path? 34 trumped up convictions, pun intended, Uncle Brother. I agree. All right, let's keep going. I think we're going to move on to, let's move on to 15 minutes and 47 seconds. See, I saved y'all the time of having to go through everything.
About this moment in answering the call.
Even if you are a white woman who is voting for Kamala Harris, that's not enough. You have to get off the sidelines and do the work like Black women and Black men have been doing for decades, and follow the lead of people like Jotega Edie, whose lead we followed on our call. We have to be waking up every day and phone banking and knocking doors and sending texts, but most important, we have to be persuading the white women in our lives. We may be part of the 47%, but we know the 53%. They're our mothers and our sisters and our friends, and we have to tell them to vote not just in their own self-interests, but in all women's best interests.
Right.
Let's stop it right there. Man, y'all Black women have done a toll on white women, man. A lot of white women nervous, scared, willing to do anything just to be in the good grace of Black women, bro. And I'm just sorry. I got to say it. I'm not sorry, but I do got to say it. This white woman is in complete oppressor sympathy mode. Complete oppressor sympathy mode. To me, she sounds wild, in some of the things that she's saying. But when you're encouraging people to get out on the front lines, it's not just enough to vote. You got to get out on the front lines. You got to persuade women to vote for women's best interest, not just your own personal interest, but for the interest of women. My question is, what is in the best interest of women? What is in the best interest of women? In my opinion, looking around at my family, looking around at a lot of families, the best interest of women, just in my opinion, is to have some stronger male leaders. The best interest of women right now is to figure out a way to empower male leadership because it's lacking. To me, that would be what's in the best interest of women. Now, I guess I'm not a woman, right? So I can't say what's in the best interest of a woman. But based on the complaints that I hear among women, it seems like one of the biggest things that would change all that and fix a lot of our problems in our American communities is having better men, more honorable men, more disciplined men, more responsible men, more men that are capable of leading. That to me seems like what would be in the best interest of women when I look around at all the problems that we face. Let's keep going.
And so that's what tonight is all about. Tonight is all about.
And we're going to move on from that one because that's really all we had with her. We got a lot to get through. Oh, man, we're not even. All right, let's move across. We're going to move to 31. All right, so Black brother. Let's listen.
Right, middle in the audience. Justin.
Hello.
In our audience.
Hello, Madam Vice President.
You live in Michigan.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't love saying hello, Madam Vice President.
I do.
What's your question? It's an immigration question.
My question for you is, when you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical
it sounds very theoretical. Let's go back to the question. Hold on. Can we go back to the question?
A specific step.
Because I already lost the question.
When you become president, what would be your specific steps? Yeah, of course. What would be specific steps to strengthening the border?
So it's a wonderful and important question. You know, my background was as a prosecutor, and I was also the elected.
We don't know your background. We know you were a prosecutor, but we do not know your background. But instead of focusing on your background, why don't you just tell us what you've done the last 3.5 years when you were border czar?
Attorney general for 2 terms of a border state. So this is not a theoretical issue for me. This is something I've actually worked on. Okay. I have prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
So what is your plan for the border? You said that you've prosecuted people for guns. Okay.
I take very seriously the importance of having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people.
She takes very seriously having a secure border and ensuring the safety of the American people. Do y'all feel that that's the case based on what's happening right now? And this is why she's so amazing. Hold on, let me unplug it. I try not to keep my charger in the computer when it's, don't overcharge your stuff. But this is what I'm so impressed by with Kamala. She actually has successfully, I don't know if I'm impressed with her or more just disappointed in us. If it's beneficial for her to act if it's beneficial for her to attach herself to a policy that has been successful in the Biden-Harris administration, she will do so. But then in other cases where she doesn't feel like answering a question or doesn't want to be held accountable to the last 3.5 years, she will just completely act as if she's not in office. She will almost act as if Trump is in office right now and, hey, we need something different. She is the vice president right now to a president that is, I think I'm being nice when I say is not functioning totally well. Is that being nice? I think so.
Sadly, where we are now can be traced most recently back to the fact that when the United States Congress, members of the Congress, including some of the most conservative Republicans, came up with a border security bill. And here's what that border security bill would have done. It would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Let me tell you, those border agents are working around the clock. It would have just been about giving them some support and relief which is probably why the border agents actually endorsed the bill.
That doesn't make your point. If anything, that takes away from it. Yeah, we know people just get tired at work and just want relief, but that doesn't mean that that's necessarily the best thing. And this is the whole blame game. We're talking about a leader. We have, like, think about this. Think about this. This would not be okay in any other situation. Sports, on the job, this blame game that she plays that we just embrace. This would not be okay in any other aspect. She's asked a question. She blames Trump, who's not in office, for having enough power to shut down something when he's not even in office. And she's the vice president right now to a president, Joe Biden, regarding a situation that he told her to take care of with the border. But she blames Trump's, like, the blame game and then say that she's a leader. No, leaders don't do that. You figure out a way or you don't place blame. Is that just the understanding? Could you imagine working for a company? Let's go back to that same example. You're working for a company where your salary is dependent on that company doing well. And you go to the leader of that company and say, well, this guy that doesn't work in the company, like, it wasn't our fault in the company. We tried to do the right things for y'all, but this other guy that's not in the company, like, he just has more power than us. He had the power to so why am I not talking to that guy? Why am I not working out a deal with that guy? Why am I talking to you then? Does this make sense, or am I tripping? I may be tripping. I may be tripping.
It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl. And I'm looking at people from all over the country here. So I don't need to tell the folks who are.
And what's so funny is, do we need to bring back that video? Do we need to bring back that video very quickly? So she's talking about border stuff, and this is why I got to do it. This is why I got to do it. Hold on. We got to pull up this video again. We got to bring back that video because she's blaming. Okay, so matter of fact, we have this is the video that we didn't show on Friday. I want y'all to see this very quickly. Matter of fact, we're going to play the one that we already saw because it's a shorter one. Let me share the screen here. She's blaming stuff on Trump, right? What is going on with this service? This is annoying. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I'm connected. It says it's fully connected. I don't know. Hold on 1 second. Let me reset this real quick. 1 second. All right, we're back. Not sure what happened, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We're not going to waste any time talking about it. All right, so I want to show y'all this real quick. As we're talking, so she's talking about the border. She's talking about the border. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Hopefully y'all can still see. Let me log in so I can check. All right, so we're still good. We're good. We're good. See, whenever that happens, I lose some of the people watching, but it is what it is. All right. So I have to reference this video because she's playing all this blame game. Just listen to what this.
Any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. These are aliens with significant in San Diego. We had an exponential.
So this is Aaron Heike, and we played this video last show. He's the former chief patrol agent of U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
Increase in significant interest aliens. These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border.
Can we just leave it there? He was told to not report certain information. And this entire video talks about this, but I don't want to take too much time on this video. But isn't it so funny how Kamala Harris can blame Trump for a problem that happened during her time there because her party was inviting people and incentivizing people to come here illegally. So she creates the problem with Joe Biden. She creates the problem, then blames Trump for not being able to fix the problem that she caused. Do we is that not insane? But we're sitting here saying that she's a good leader and she's the most qualified candidate to be president. This is really what we're standing on. Somebody who created the problem. We did not have this problem when Trump was in office. So we can't say that Trump created it. You created it, and now you're not taking the responsibility that comes along with solving it. You're just playing the blame game. Let's keep going to listen to Kamala. Let's keep going.
We're watching this. What fentanyl has done to families, to kids in our country, and the need to take seriously stemming the flow coming into our country and addressing that.
And what's so funny, Cuzzo? So Keith, you can see on the screen, he wrote, still waiting on specifics. So he wrote that. I know we went out for a bit, but he wrote that. When did you write that? You wrote that at 9:26. It's 9:35. We weren't out that long ago. We're still waiting on specifics. She hasn't given any specifics.
That extraordinary and tragic issue in terms of its effect. The bill would have allowed us to have more resources to prosecute transnational criminal organizations.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
And it would have been part of the solution. And Donald.
Yo, when I was in high school, man, I could have been one of the GOATs, man, but my coach was hating on me, or they had this other dude come in and did it. Like, you sound crazy.
Trump called up those folks and said, don't put that bill on the floor for a vote. He blocked.
She's using this as an empowering moment, but what it really should do is this should show us how little power she has. Trump's not in office and you're telling me he has the power. So if you become president, what makes you think that he doesn't have the power to do the same thing? So pretty much if you can blame Trump for not being able to fix a problem that you created, you're saying that he has enough power for that. But then once you get in office, who's to say that he doesn't use the same amount of power? Y'all say he want to be a dictator. Y'all say all these other things. So who's to say that he won't leverage his power that way?
The billing, you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
He'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. Ma'am, you created the problem. You're talking about somebody just running on creating a problem. Look at all the problems that we have in the world right now. We didn't have these problems when Trump was in office. But you're talking about he'd rather run on a problem. Knock it off. That thing that she's talking about, like all of these policies that they try to say, we put together a bill that would have addressed border security. Yeah, but in those bills, just like, and we've looked through a few of them, what do? They always put a whole bunch of other stuff in the actual bill. It's not just what they're proposing or just what they're announcing to the public. But when you look at it, it's like, yo, what does that have to do with anything? Like an example was the Inflation Reduction Act. What does Inflation Reduction Act have to do with hiring a bunch of people in the IRS to go after people to garnish payments from them that they're supposedly they didn't pay as many taxes that they thought as much in taxes as they should have. But what does that have to do with inflation? I'm just giving you an example of how these policies and these agendas are pushed forward. And they'll say like, hey, we proposed this bill and it was supposed to do one thing, but it has to do with something totally different than what the actual bill sounds like when you hear it by its name. Let's keep going.
And he has
So did she answer the question yet?
put his personal political security before border security. Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support.
He's put, did she just say what I think he, hold on.
Political security, put his personal political security before border security.
Is she talking about Trump or personal security? Like the same guy that's been 2 assassination attempts. Maybe I heard that wrong.
Because understand, even in the intervening months, what that bill would have done to give support.
And he got to
to
shake
folks
his
who
head,
care about
knowing
this
damn well
issue.
she ain't answer.
And this again gets to the point about what does leadership really look like? And is it about you or is it about the people? Right. Is it about running on problems or fixing problems? My work and my career has always been about saying, let's fix problems. Let's address the needs because we know
here it comes. Here it comes.
To do that.
So to answer Justin's question,
after 5 minutes of speaking, Oprah finally chimes in and says, well, to answer Justin's question, which is a nice way of saying, well, you still haven't answered the question. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Because we know it's within our capacity to do that.
So to answer Justin's question, now that that bill has gone and hasn't passed, will you reintroduce that?
Absolutely. And when I am elected president of the United States, I will make sure that bill gets to my desk and I will sign it into law.
And this is what Donald Trump was talking about in the debate. Why can't you do that right now? Are you saying that Joe Biden does not want to do it? So Joe Biden doesn't agree with the bill either? Because you're saying that you'll make sure that it gets to your desk. You're there now. You're there now. Like, I can't be the only one that's thinking this. You're there now. So either you're saying that Joe Biden is there now and has the power to get it to his desk and decided not to, or you're just giving us lip service and acting as if you'll have more power than you actually have if you are president. Does that make any sense? Let's move on. Let's move on. 3728. That's our next timestamp. What are we talking about? Let's see. Oh, this is an interesting one. All right, let me make sure that it's shared. All right, let's move on.
Us pay off some of our mortgage. It's also beneficial for them because they can save on cheaper rent. But we really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And you
just answer the question. And to give y'all context without going back, they're struggling to buy a house. They moved in with their family to save money. They moved in with their parents for a year, saved money, bought their own house. Their mortgage is a lot higher than they initially thought. Now they have I think her sister and her brother-in-law living in the house as well. So their sister and brother-in-law can save money and hopefully buy a house. And it also helps them with the mortgage. So their question is, what are you going to do to lower the cost of living?
But we really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambition.
Bro. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. She sounds crazy.
For your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is for this generation and so many.
There's no way that somebody voting for Kamala or somebody that thinks they're voting for Kamala watching this video right now, there's no way that you feel good about things right now. You could get angry and say, well, it doesn't matter. Trump's a convicted felon. There's no way you feel good about this product that is being presented to us right now. There's no way.
Recently, far more.
And what did we talk about on a couple other shows, a couple shows ago? We talked about reputation. The only way to repair reputation is to first be honest with ourselves. There's no way that somebody who supports Kamala Harris is being honest with themselves and saying that this sounds like a leader. This sounds like somebody that's confident. This sounds like somebody that understands what they're going to do if they become president. There's no way that you can look at this and feel good about your decision. You have to fall back on identity politics. You have to say, oh, she's a black woman. You have to say things about Trump. You can't say just positive things about her and how she presents herself. The only thing you can say is the identity. She's a black woman. Or you can talk about Trump. Tell me what else you can say about her.
Elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price.
So bringing down the cost of everyday groceries. It's not a plan, but maybe she's getting ready to explain the plan.
Everyday necessities.
Because I'm sure everybody would love to have the cost of groceries go down, right?
Necessities, including groceries. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, most companies and corporate.
Okay, so she's taking on price gouging. Okay, that will bring down the cost. I believe that this is what she's getting ready to say based on where she's leading us, right?
Corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage.
Hold on, what do we?
Most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people, especially during a pandemic or.
So let me get this straight. The first thing that you mentioned is bringing down groceries. And the first plan of going about that is dealing with price gouging. But then you say that most companies are good when it comes to price gouging, but there's a few of them that are not. So that means that it wouldn't be a significant change. Because if most companies are doing the right thing, and if you're only bringing up situations where she's getting ready to say, like during a pandemic or like that was during that time, we get it. But right now, if your solution to bringing down the cost of groceries is to attack the price gougers, but most of them are not doing anything like price gouging, most of them are being fair, then how will that significantly change anything if you're just going after the exceptions that are not doing things the right way?
Extreme weather, and they end up jacking up prices, and there needs to be accountability and consequence for that. So I'm going to be taking on price gouging. But it's also
didn't say how, but okay.
About dealing with what we need to do around home ownership, right? So as someone mentioned during this film, look, I grew up a child of a mother who worked very hard. She raised me and my sister, and she saved up, and by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy a home. And we grew up actually for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center that was owned by the woman we called our second mother because she helped my mother raise us. And she was a small business owner, Miss Shelton. So I'll bring all this together to tell you the way I think about it is, one, when people work hard and have a dream of buying a home, we should give you the opportunity to be able to do that, which is why part of my plan is for first-time homeowners, buyers, to have a $25,000 down payment assistance to buy your first
Who's paying for that?
home.
Who's paying for that? Remember, Donald Trump didn't give us the stimulus. He just signed the bill. That's why it's so easy for Kamala to present these giveaways like the social programs that Democrats have always put in front of our face, dangling like a carrot to get us to follow them blindly. Now you're going to give $25,000 down payment? Yo, improve the cost of living. Stop giving us things that are only going to add to inflation. We just identified that. Well, I don't know if we identified that. I would have identified it if I was her. What a lot of now the stimulus was obviously a little bit different because that was meant to stimulate an economy that was shut down due to the pandemic. But what she's saying as far as giving people down payment assistance, yeah, if you are buying a house, that sounds amazing. because we're going to look at it just as people looked at with the student loan forgiveness. If you have loans, you don't care about whether it's right or wrong. You don't care about the impacts. You just want your loans to be paid off. This is the same thing. So now we're just giving away more money that comes out of our tax dollars. Do we think that that's going to help inflation or not help inflation? So you're either getting the money from us or you're printing the money. And printing the money we know is going to lead to inflation. Come on, bro.
Because people just need to be able to get their foot in the door, and then you'll do the hard work. Part of my plan is what we need to do to support small businesses, because my second mother was a small business owner, and I love our small businesses and our small business owners. They are not only business leaders, they are community leaders. They mentor, they hire locally, and we have so many entrepreneurs in our country who have great ideas, incredible work ethic, but not necessarily access to capital, because not everybody, like my opponent, was handed $400 million on a silver plate that he filed bankruptcy 6 times on. And so
more going to Trump. Cool. I just wanted to let her get that out. You know, more going to Trump. This is talking about small businesses. This is the same group, Democrats, right, that were trying to shut down all the small businesses during the pandemic. But she cares so much about small businesses. This is the Democratic Party that was trying to convince us with all the fear mongering and censoring, like what Mark Zuckerberg reported, censoring certain stuff, only pushing certain things that are going to keep you scared and in the house and shut down. Why? So they can profit off of your fear with that thing that they jabbed in your arm. Come on, man. We gotta see through this stuff. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. 4704. 4704. That's it.
Stand up, Hadley.
And she's got a crazy story, by the way. All right, so let me actually back up so you could hear the beginning of her story. So you could then move
Her
fast forward.
incredibly powerful story. And in case you didn't see it, here's just a brief look.
Growing up, I was an all-American girl. Varsity soccer captain, cheerleading captain, homecoming queen, and survivor. I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. At age 12, I took my first pregnancy test, and it was positive.
Terrible, obviously, right? So now we're getting ready, as you could have guessed, to talk about abortion and reproductive rights.
We are so impressed by your courage to stand up and share your story. Where did that come from, the strength to do this? Because I'm sure you thought long and hard before deciding to go public with your story.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned,
thanks everybody,
I woke up with a harsh reality of my abuse was over, but my story is not. And I just could not fathom thinking about the other Hadleys out there that don't have that choice, that don't have somebody to go to. So being able to find courage and be the light for them, that's really what I do it for.
And so what do you want to say to other people who are voting in this election regarding what happened to you and what that means?
You can't wait until it's too late to care about reproductive health care, because then it's too late. And when it affects you, it hits, and you can't deny it. You can't look at someone with a story like mine and say it didn't happen. And there are more people like me out there, and there are gonna be so many more who deserve their options. They deserve their choices. Let's get involved. We have someone who's willing to hear us at a level like never before. We have someone who wants to know what we want in this country. We have someone who wants to lift up our voice. And we need to show out and show up for her just like she's showing out and showing up for us.
All right. Is there something you wanted to say too?
So this is the problem that I have with this. This is the problem that I have with this. And I'm actually getting a text message that I got to respond to. Y'all know I got to respond to certain things in real time. It is what it is. Somebody watching the show. You know, it's all good. Next time, maybe wait till after the show to text it. But I understand you got your notes. You got your notes. I'll respond in real time. Cool. But I also want to address what I think they're doing with Hadley. They're talking about reproductive rights. And they're using her as an example of getting pregnant at 12 after she was raped. When we talk about abortions, everybody goes to these examples of abortion. Everybody goes to these examples, these rape abortions, these abortions that are supposedly justified. That's why they're talking about bringing on Hadley on here. These abortions are not the majority of abortions. So why do they lead with them? If you have the percentage of abortions, let's say it's 1% of the abortions are based on situations like this. Why would you lead with that to justify the other 99% of the abortions that have absolutely nothing to do with rape? But this is what they do because they want to get us emotionally attached to these type of things and say, of course, abortion should be a choice. I mean, of course, abortion should be a choice. Look at Hadley's story. She was raped at 12 years old and got pregnant. Look at her story. Of course, we should be able to have abortions. It's not being honest with ourselves. It's completely disingenuous when they lead with this. They use the exception to try to prove the rule, to try to prove the majority. It's disgusting. If you really just believed in pro-choice, then why use the 1%? Why not just talk about the 99% of the people that get abortions and why they're getting abortions and just stand on it and say, hey, I should be able to get an abortion. But instead, you're trying to do exactly what Quee said, play on the emotions of people, show a super emotional story of Hadley, and she doesn't even realize how she's being used. I wouldn't be surprised if 20 years from now, she changes her stance completely, because that's what a lot of us do as we grow older and we think about abortions, even though a lot of us don't. But they're playing on emotions. And what IROC just said is exactly, I believe that that's 100% true. I hate that they call it reproductive health care. You aren't reproducing anything. You want to kill it. Let's just be honest. We're not talking about, just call it what it is. Nobody's going back and forth on the ability to reproduce. It's the ability to terminate. Just call it termination rights. You can put it in there. It's not reproductive. People can call it whatever they want. I would respect it more if you just call it what it is. But of course, they have to sugarcoat, use a different name like they do with a lot of these bills that I was talking about earlier, just to make it easier to digest for a lot of people to get on board. Because if they called it termination rights, people probably wouldn't be as open to pushing it. What did Queez write? That is their meal tickets, the abortion policy, and the emotion of a female voter. This is so shameful, so shameful. But let's keep going. Let's keep going because there's a couple of things. Let's move on to Tracy Ellis Ross, 10548. Let's move on to 10548. Let's see here.
As a 52-year-old childless woman, I want to say to the people who think that a woman's worth is measured in her baby count, I mean, shout out to all the amazing mothers, but the childless women have been mothering the world and elevating culture as aunties, godmothers, teachers.
Yo, I do not understand. I'm sorry. I do not understand how mature men get behind an agenda like this. I just don't get it. And matter of fact, you know what's so wild? So yesterday I was sitting there last night, and maybe this is a good time to talk about it. So yesterday I was really just sitting here last night, late at night when I was reviewing this video. I said, maybe everybody should just do what they want. Maybe there is a way to have women running the world and that just be okay. Maybe we should encourage women to not just and what she's saying to me is just so disingenuous, because it's almost as if, well, I don't know. I know that a lot of women, especially in other cultures, like I talked to Bewa, my coworker who lives in Nigeria, and she says if women aren't married by the time they're 23, I'm sorry, if you start to look around 23, and then by 27, if you're not married, the elderly ladies, they look at you funny. So I understand the culture out there. That's been not the culture here. Let's just relax. We don't need anybody pushing women to say that, oh, you don't need to have a baby to feel validated, to feel purposeful. Our culture is a different culture. She speaks as if she lives in the Nigerian culture, saying like, hey, y'all got to ease up. Our culture is just about women being promiscuous, living hot girl summers, doing whatever they want to do, not worrying about having kids. So much to the point where a lot of women in their mid-30s, I wish they would speak out more. Not the Tracy Ellis Rosses, the people that are stars or celebrities. I wish the common Black women in your mid-30s would speak out, because when I talk to y'all, it seems like y'all have a lot more regret. It seems like y'all been bamboozled by a lot of these democratic liberal policies or way of life and culture being pushed to where now you do not embrace that. Now you understand, like, damn, I wish I would have focused on, maybe being more family oriented and less just seeking validation through work. I wish more common Black people, Black women would speak up on this, because this is what's being pushed in our culture. And to me, it's a huge problem. And this is part of the reason why we have a gender war. I know the older folk may not care, but actually, when you're in it, if you're in between the ages of 15 to 40, especially maybe in that 30 to 45 range, you understand very clearly that there is a gender war between men and women, and that leads to a lot of problems that we are going to face that we may not actually see how those problems come to fruition until it's maybe, I don't know, until we're older, 20, 30 years from now, when nobody is having kids. You know what I mean? When we have a society, I'm telling y'all, as somebody who grew up in that society, it's not prioritized as much. Maybe that's why I don't have kids. I grew up in a society where it's not prioritized as much. Then you get to an age where now it's like, yo, I want to have kids. I want to have kids. And it's like, damn, you should have been maybe thinking about this 10 years ago. You should have been maybe setting yourself up, positioning yourself. We position ourselves for a lot of other things, but we don't position ourselves for this. So I want to, that's pretty much all I wanted to highlight with her. I want to go to one last point where she's talking about gun violence. One last point here.
1,000 children have been exposed to gun violence. Now just sit with that number for a second.
And IROC, I agree with you. She's just trying to get credit. Like, she's just trying to, hold on. Would you write Russell Westbrook? My fault. Queez, what I miss? Russell Westbrook's what? Oh, did she say something about Russell Westbrook or something like that? But IROC wrote, what the F, mothering the world, what a load of crap. It's like nobody listening to any of this stuff. That's why I'm just like, as a mature person, how do you look at this and take this seriously? Like, how do you look at this and take this seriously? I don't understand it. Let's keep, hold on. What did I say? We're going to one. Yeah.
It's a number until it's your child.
Mm-hmm.
This is not normal, y'all.
Yep.
Okay,
this is not normal.
This ain't normal,
and this is not right. Other people in other countries do not have this issue. We, Americans, we have to do better. We have to do better. We cannot continue to just settle for our thoughts and prayers. Lives are being destroyed. 15-year-old Natalie Griffith and her parents, Doug and Marilda, are here. And Natalie, we are so sorry to know that you too have been added to that number, because you were in algebra class when you were shot twice by a 14-year-old fellow student. We're so glad that you lived to tell your story. And so how are you tonight?
Well, before that thing,
video, I was very happy. I still am very happy to be here and to tell my story and what happened, because it was a terrible thing, and it should not have. What's it called?
Where were you shot? Where were you
I was
physically shot?
Right here on my shoulder, and then around here, right wrist.
I was
Yeah,
saying
my
that
wrist.
383,000 students in our country, the United States of America, have been exposed to violence. That same scene that you experienced in your school. Had you all been having, drills or preparation for what should happen? Should there be a shooting?
I've had intruder drills and fire drills and stuff. In my old schools, we've had a fire drill at Appalachia, but it was the first 2 months of the school year. We hadn't had an intruder drill yet, so we weren't even completely sure where to go in the classroom. We all just, I remember being huddled.
So I was watching your mother, even just when that tape was coming on. It's still very much PTSD, very much traumatic. You're still reliving it. And how has it been for you? How were you notified that there was a shooting at the school?
I was notified by a friend. She called me, I was at work. And she called me and she said, "Do you know about the shooting?" With the school that she goes to, the Appalachia. I said, "No, I don't." And then she said there was a shooting at the Appalachia High School. My heart just dropped. My heart just got so heavy, and I could not stop. I had to leave. I told my coworkers, I gotta go, I have to leave. And the first thing I did is drop my knee on the floor and just start praying. I prayed for about 30 minutes from my work all the way to the school. I didn't get to the school on my car. I had to leave my car at a gas station about maybe 2.5, 3 miles. And I walked on foot and I ran because my heart was so heavy. I couldn't get to touch my daughter.
And I hear you have a message for people in power regarding guns now.
I do. I want to finish that story because no parent should go through this. I want to just finish what, the experience. You do not know what feels until it's you.
Yes.
All those numbers that you show on the TV, a lot of people, they're here are mothers. What are we doing about this? What are we doing? Let's make sure that everybody listens. Let's make sure that everybody hears it. The whole world needs to hear that we women that have our children, we have a job. That job is to protect our children. That job is to protect our nation. That job is to protect our country. We cannot leave. We cannot let that go on. We have to stop it. Where I was asking earlier, where are those people? All the shooting, where are they? They needed to make a noise. I'm ready to make a noise about this, and I'm ready to stop it. Because no one knows what feels when you can't find your child, when you call her, she's not answering. And when I went through it, it's just me that knows it. And I'm so sorry for those that lost, the child that actually died. I can actually hug my child. My child is here, and I gave all this praise to the Lord. Our Father in heaven saved my child. But the other two mothers, they lost their kids, and the other teachers that died. Those people are suffering like I'm suffering. I'm very sorry for them. I'm very sorry that they lost their loved ones.
And you have a message for the people in power.
Yes, the people in power. Let's make it a change. Let's make it happen. Let's make, let's just not hear about this. Who wants to just hear about this? We gotta change it. We gotta make it happen.
Yo, there's a popular Cameron meme or Cameron saying in Paid in Full. And it's something about something happening every day, B. And I'm going to sound super insensitive when I say this, but hopefully we understand the point. Cameron is quoted in Paid in Full. If you ever seen Paid in Full, you probably know what I'm getting ready to say, and you're probably like, Dak, don't say it. Somebody gets shot in the movie. Cameron responds while eating a bag of chips and says, niggas get shot every day, B. Sorry, wrong camera. Niggas get shot every day, B. Why am I saying that? We are getting fooled by these Democrats. It's disgusting. And Barack Obama has done it. And Barack Obama being from Chicago, what nerve that he has. What nerve does he that he has? We are getting fooled and manipulated by emotional stories like that are super deep and powerful. But what we end up doing is valuing that young girl. Of course, a situation happened in the school. Totally understand that. But if you really want to do something about guns, instead of using this little girl's emotional story and her family, then why don't you actually go to the communities where gun crime and homicides is the most? Because yeah, we hear about school shootings, but do you know how many kids are killed in Chicago? Kids killed in Baltimore, kids killed in Louisiana, kids killed in LA, all these different cities, in the Bronx. And we want to talk about school shootings? Yes, we should address school shootings, but it shows a certain level of disconnect, in my opinion, when you don't even talk about the amount of shootings that are done in a lot of these cities that I just named. And the reason why they don't want to name them is because those shootings are not with semi-automatic rifles. Those shootings are with handguns. Those shootings are not with registered guns. So when Kamala Harris proposes her plan of buying back guns, what do you think that's going to do in Chicago, in the Bronx, and a lot of these other cities, in Baltimore, in DC, where kids are killing each other with handguns? Do you think they go to the store and buy these guns? Do you think that they're registered? No. And there's an overwhelmingly more amount of kids. See, and what's so funny is when we hear a lot about mass shootings, I'll give you an example. When we hear about mass shootings, in our minds, we think about things like the church shooting with Dylan Roof. We think about what happened up in Rochester, or was it Buffalo, up there in upstate New York. We think about some of these recent school shootings. We think about what happened in Vegas. We think about all these type of things. The most mass shootings, because what makes something a mass shooting? Hold on, I'm in ChatGPT right now. And I'm in ChatGPT for a reason. I'm getting ready to share my screen with y'all. What makes something a mass shooting? A mass shooting generally refers to an incident where multiple people are shot or killed in a single event. The majority of mass shootings are not what they're representing, but this, just like the abortion that I just highlighted, well, they'll bring on Hadley to talk about when she was 12 and got pregnant and use that extreme example to justify abortion on the norm. They're doing the same thing here. They're talking about a mass school shooting where they're using all these big guns, where Kamala can propose her plan to say that, oh, we're buying back guns and we don't need these big semi-automatic rifles and assault, whatever they are. These are not the guns that are killing people. But see, the problem is the people that die from the handguns in Chicago, the people that die from the handguns in the Bronx, the people that die from the handguns in Baltimore and DC and in various cities in Louisiana and other impoverished communities are black. They're brown. They're not white. So it's not as big of a story. Let's just be real. It's not as big of a story. So we'll highlight those instances and completely disregard the ones that have to do with handguns. And they'll come up with all this lip service and act like, oh, well, we're going to get these big guns off the streets. Like those are leading to the majority of mass shootings. Let me share my screen real quick and show y'all something. And what's so funny is when I looked up yesterday, hold on, let me show y'all this. I looked this up yesterday on ChatGPT, and I'm glad I took a screenshot of it. I looked this up last night. And I'm gonna see if y'all could take a look at this. So I said, I was interested in understanding what percentage of these mass shootings are caused by homicides. I mean, are used with handguns compared to a lot of these semi-automatic rifles and these big guns that Kamala says that she wants to get off of the streets and whatnot and do a buyback or whatever else she's saying. It depends on whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday, what she's saying. Look at this screenshot. I asked ChatGPT in the United States. What did I ask? Hold on. Well, this is what ChatGPT responded. In the United States, handguns are overwhelmingly the most common type of firearm used in gun homicides, according to FBI crime data. handguns account for about 88 to 90% of all firearm-related homicides. Let me show y'all this. This is yesterday on ChatGPT. I may have to challenge ChatGPT on this. Hold on. Y'all can see that. I'm sorry, not yesterday. Y'all can see I was up at 12:20 in the AM. You'll see on my screen. Today it says 12:21 AM. Look at this. So I just want to prove to y'all. It says 88 to 90%. I don't know whether ChatGPT was looking at my page or something, but when you look at it now let's go to ChatGPT. I typed it in today when I was just hearing that, and hold on. It just says 60 to 65%. So I don't know what happened. Let me actually make that screen a little bigger. Hold on. Does that work a little better? I'm trying to get it so y'all can see it. Let me move myself off the screen for a sec. Hold on. That the information changed. I entered the same questions, but the information changed. I'm gonna show you an example. Look at my phone. Y'all can go back and pause it if y'all need to. But it says a 2019 study by the Bureau of Justice Statistics found that 90% of guns used in crimes were not obtained from retail sources like gun stores or pawn shops where registration might occur. Most were acquired through informal channels such as theft, illegal purchases, or straw purchases where someone buys a gun for another person. If that's the case, then what will your gun buyback program? Do you think people who have unregistered guns are just giving them over? So it's all just another example of lip service, in my opinion. It's all just another example of lip service. These people don't care about these mass shootings. They are just using that young lady, just like Oprah and Kamala did, just like they used Hadley, in order to push their particular agenda. And that's that. That's that. If you cared, Barack, then you'd make your way to Chicago and actually try to repair the neighborhood that you actually grew up in, or that you spent a lot of time, at least got your political boost in. I would say your political foundation in Chicago. So I want to leave that there. I want to leave that there. And hold on, hold on one more second. Because I just want to make sure that all right. So that's the last part of it. I don't think we need to go into this anymore, but I just think now is a time where a lot of us need to wake up and stop getting bamboozled. Just like we've gotten bamboozled with them creating Shea butter. Where do we start off the show? And everybody make sure we got 15,000 in here. Make sure that you like. Please make sure that you take the time to like right now. Don't hold off until the end. You'll get off the show. I have to make sure that we do that because that's going to help boost and get the video to multiple people or a lot of people. It is what it is. All right. Just like we got bamboozled, how I started the show by saying that we live in a generation where people intentionally will choose to buy shea butter scented lotion when you can easily just buy shea butter. That's the world that we live in. That's what Big Pharma represents. That is the world that we live in. We think the wrong way. We've been indoctrinated to think this way. We've been indoctrinated to think like just solely employees, just consumers. We don't look at anything from the mindset of the seller. That is just how we've been indoctrinated and manipulated, just like John D. Rockefeller, who was one of the founders of the education board, just how he made it clear and said that his job is to not raise thinkers. They want to groom workers, period. That is how our minds and that perspective, in my opinion, it shapes how we see a lot of different things that happen throughout the world. And just in our day-to-day lives, it shapes our perspectives and how we see things, how we perceive different things. It just is across the board. It shapes us. And this is how they've won. So a lot to unpack in this episode. We're going to let you guys get out of here. Damn, it's 10:20. Yo, I can't even explain to y'all how excited I get when I have these conversations with y'all. And I'm even more excited as soon as I get off here to reach out to who sent me a lovely text, somebody that I look up to and hold in very high regards and always have. I cannot wait to have a conversation with them about something that was discussed on here. I'm excited about it. This is what I'm into. This is what I research. This is what I spend a lot of time doing my due diligence on. Y'all saw on my phone, I'm up at 12:30 looking up this type of stuff. I'm up at 12:30 a.m. looking up this stuff, posting on YouTube. And then I get up at 6 to start the same process again. So unless you are doing the same amount of due diligence and really into this as much, it neither here nor there. Actually, I'll leave that neither here nor there. I'm just letting y'all know, as far as the only way to really unpack a lot of this stuff is to look into it. And the more you look into it, maybe it'll lean you in a direction that you didn't previously lean. All right. So I'll finish up with that. There was, shoot, let me catch up with so Keith wrote, say it with your chest. She made her name on these areas. Facts. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. Oh, and I got an announcement for y'all. Yo, we are officially a YouTube partner. We reached the first level of 3,000 watch hours. That is a shout out to y'all. So we're currently going through the process of being reviewed. So we hit our number. That was the first tier. Now we can have a store on YouTube. Y'all can send me millions of dollars in super chats. More importantly, we can have our membership. So a lot of these shows that we were talking about, even with like Alana, hopefully get Urs on there, we get Queez on there, where we're having a little bit more of more private conversations, not necessarily private conversations, but ones where we want people that, we typically interact with. So to be members only, we'll have some of those. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Shout out to Cuzzo. Cuzzo said, hey, congratulations. I'm congratulating y'all as well, because this is a team thing. This is a team thing. And I promise y'all, I'm really embracing this current phase, not the next phase, this current phase of life where we talk about empowering other people, becoming the best leader that I can become to do dope things with the people that I love and care about the most. That's what's on my mind right now. So that's what I'm looking to do. And I need all of us to do it for me to know that I'm aligned with my purpose, because that's really my purpose. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I know I'm not as emotional at times as maybe to get the point across of how appreciative I am of y'all, but trust me, it is appreciated. If I was Kamala right now, I'd shed a little tear, or I don't know, I'd get a little bit more emotional and tell y'all about my career and my history as a prosecutor, and I would relate it to my history I would do all that. But I'm just gonna say, Thank you. I appreciate y'all. I really love y'all, and I really rock with y'all. So let's get into our meditation. It is Monday. We're not ending a show without doing our visualization, meditation, manifesting, whatever it is that you need to put your mind in the best place to have this be the most amazing week that we've ever had. So we're going to take 30 to 45 seconds. It always ends up being 45 seconds. We'll take 45 seconds, sit in silence, do whatever you need. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes, and let's just meditate. Breathe in through that diaphragm, all the good energy. Exhale all the negative vibes. So let's go. Ready? Go. One more deep breath. One more deep breath. Oh, you heard the voice crack? Hold up, my bad. One more. Yo, I wasn't sure if anybody peeped that. But making fun. She talking about the voice crack when I was telling y'all how much I appreciate y'all. She know, man. She know. Like a lot of people close to me know, like this really means a lot to me, yo. This is my purpose. Nobody can tell me anything otherwise. And the whole reason why me telling y'all that I'm up late out, I put in a 9 to 5 with just this. I guarantee you the hours that I put in with just this exceed a 9 to 5. And I still have to make sure that I'm doing, taking care of my clients, or else I won't put food on the table. Because mine is, y'all know, I'm not a W-2. You deliver and you get paid, or if you don't deliver, you don't get paid. So there's no excuses. We're locked in. We are different over here. All right. It's different over here. And I'm talking about all of us. All right. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what we're here to do. What are we here to do? Elevate on purpose. And it with the level of intention that increases our standards, forces us to become the leaders that we need now more than ever. Get to that bag, whatever in your bag you decide. I'll tell you what I'm getting to. Peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything that we do, integrity. Quee sent the fire emojis. Yo, I love y'all. I just imagine what we can be unburdened by what has been, unburdened by what could be. Yeah. I'll see y'all soon. Ew.